Hey there, welcome back to another episode of What's Your Story? Tonight we are sitting down with one of our former board members, man about town, David Kling, who's in many different, you wear a lot of hats around here, right? Or
Yeah,
over the years you have.
A few, yeah.
So how did you get to Kennebunkport? Like when you were a wee lad.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
Upstate New York, yeah. No, I have a standard line, I think, of how did you get to Kennebunkport? Because so many people got here because they came as a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
I got here through blind, dumb luck.
Hey, we'll take that.
Kind of, and I really kind of, it is blind, dumb luck. I was living in Chicago when I retired, and both of my kids had gone to school back east. And I could make this a really long story, but and I had sort of fallen in love with New England from the first time my family ever went there when I was 8 years old.
Yep.
Car trip, no AC.
Yep.
And,
or GPS.
And anyway, when I retired, we decided to move. No GPS. Dad in the front. Decided to move to New England and started looking for an idyllic kind of, I don't know, maybe Norman Rockwell in the back of my mind, the idyllic New England town. Yeah. And looked here, there, and everywhere. And fortunately, ran into Kai Leffler, who was our real estate agent that put up with us and took us through and found a house that we finally bought in Kennebunkport. Yeah. And the rest, as they say, has just been fabulous. Little did I realize. I mean, I knew that it was going to be a beautiful place because, you know, obviously you look around. Yeah. But, you know, it's the people that we've met, made friends with, et cetera, here have been so far beyond anything I ever expected. It's just phenomenal. So I love it.
Yeah. So you mentioned the word retired. Yep. What did you do?
I was in banking for 30 plus years. Okay. When I went to grad school in Washington. Give you the short version. Grad school in D.C. Yeah. I was hired by the CIA for a little bit, wound up then being drafted, going into the Army, realizing that despite my early wishes or thoughts that I'd want to go in the State Department, decided I didn't want to work for the government anymore. And then I got a job with Chemical Bank in New York. Okay. And lived in New York for a while, was transferred to London for 7 years. They transferred me to Chicago. Wow. And then, so every bank I ever worked for is now part of J.P. Morgan Chase. Yeah. So whatever, it went through a bunch of mergers and stuff like that. So anyway, that's kind of, it does. But it was good. I'm not I never thought I'd live in the Midwest, but Chicago turned out to be a really a great city. And my kids grew up there basically. Yeah. So it was good.
And you have two.
Two. Boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl.
Yep.
And
Allison.
A few grandchildren.
4. So we have two grandkids in Brooklyn, in Park Slope, and 2 in Somerville. So we see them fairly often. Yeah. That's good.
Must have been a little tough during the pandemic. Did you get to see them? Like, a lot of people use technology.
Yeah, Zoom, Facebook, whatever. Yeah. And I think we were cautious, so we saw them a few times, but that certainly slowed things down a little bit. But all of my kids have had COVID. Touch wood.
Really?
I have not.
Wow.
Yet. So
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I don't
Who knows?
Right, I don't think I have, but maybe down the road. I don't know. Or back then, somewhere along the way.
So here in Kennebunkport, you retired, but you got busy. You've been on the budget board.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
That's the one I missed. Planning board.
Well, they're looking for people,
Oh,
planning
great.
board.
The
That's
planning
right.
board.
You're on the planning board. you were on the library board.
Yep.
And got us through the Mother's Wing.
With a lot of help, right?
With a lot of help,
Yep.
but yes, but you were one of those charge leaders helping us get to our goals in so many different ways. And now you're on the Housing Trust.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about
Sure.
what that is?
Yeah. I should go back, and I'm going to give full marks to Dick Smith and Mike Weston,
Yeah.
who, again, Kai Leffler introduced us,
Yeah.
got us kind of started in knowing people here. And they suggested, well, Mike was on the planning board, and they suggested there's a vacancy, why don't you try
Yeah.
that? And that's kind of started the whole thing. I mean, it was, one thing about Kennebunkport is it's a relatively small town. And boy, all you have to do is put up your hand and you can get pulled into a whole bunch of different things.
Oh, I bet. I bet, yeah.
So,
So you sort of came to us through your late wife, Nancy, who
Right.
volunteered at the desk.
right.
And so she started volunteering. I can't remember the year, but I remember her being out there.
Yeah.
And we have a garden out back.
Yeah, Memorial
named
Garden, which is
Memorial
fantastic.
Garden.
Yeah,
So, and then you met Kathy.
right. Introduced
So-
by your good self. Yay. Talk about
So-
serendipity. I mean,
Yeah.
that absolutely fantastic.
So, and we
So-
got to have a ceremony
You
upstairs
did, yeah,
here at the
presided
library.
over by, again, yourselves. So it's kind of a magical
Yeah,
library romance and wedding. So
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
Just, it's just great. But so I diverted your.
That's
I'm
okay.
really good at diverting.
That's okay.
People.
So the Housing Trust.
The Housing Trust, the Kennebunkport Heritage Housing Trust, started. I guess how many years ago was it? The town began to realize, the town elders and managers, that there was a problem in the town with a declining year-round population. And that meant that we were losing students in the consolidated school,
Right.
and we were losing people to be volunteers and board members, et cetera.
Yeah.
So they said, well, what can we do about it? And they commissioned, the selectmen commissioned a study to say, let's think about this. Well, net, they wound up setting up this standalone 501c3 not-for-profit,
Yeah.
to which called the Kennebunkport Heritage Housing Trust, essentially to pursue the objective of building affordable housing
Okay.
in Kennebunkport.
Yeah.
Primarily aimed, at least certainly at the beginning anyway, at working families. So then that started, the town donated a property on Main Street,
Okay.
Main Street,
Yeah.
not far from the police station. And so this 2022, we finally finished building 6 houses
Oh.
on
okay.
that property, and
Yeah.
all 6 were sold. The trust owns the land, and it's on a 99-year lease
Okay.
to the homeowners.
Yeah.
So it's all, we added, I think, 17 people to the town
Wow,
who
that's
who
awesome.
were
Yeah.
would not have been
Right.
living otherwise.
Right.
So that's hopefully pretty much put to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then in last year also, the town has donated another small 5 acres on Beechwood,
Okay.
which we hope to eventually soon
Yeah.
kind of go to work on.
And do a few more.
Yep.
Do a few
Yep.
more houses.
So
So if somebody wanted to apply, is there a big wait list, or?
well, we're a long ways off from the house. I would think that construction on the new property probably not going to start till the end of next year.
Okay.
Maybe it's going to.
Yeah.
It always takes a lot longer than you think they're going to.
Well, especially these last few years.
Yeah.
Of.
Well, I think crazy times and rising. Anyway.
Yeah.
So when the houses are, I think, probably when construction is beginning, or sometime next year, I would guess there'll be advertising, and we'll reach out to a lot of different groups and saying, be
Yeah.
aware, these are coming. If you're interested, let us know. So that'll hopefully take place, and hopefully there'll be more down
Yeah.
the road.
So when you're not on these boards, and
Yep.
what do you like to do?
Read.
Oh,
I like to come into the
I
library.
know a place where you can get some books.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. I find as I get older, the hardest part is, late afternoon or something,
Staying awake?
and focused, reading a book. So,
Same here.
um,
Especially in a sunny window
yeah.
or in front of the fire.
Yeah,
Or, yeah.
exactly. So, but we stay active. Kathy and I walk the dog every day,
Yeah.
and that's good. It keeps us exercised. I like to play golf in the summer,
Yeah.
and a little bit of tennis,
Okay.
a little platform
Have you
paddle.
Have you picked up pickleball?
Trying it.
Okay.
See how it goes. Both Kathy and I are trying. The rec department had a pretty good program, and hopefully they'll do that again with pickleball lessons.
Yes.
So hopefully we can find other people who are
Yeah.
sufficiently inept and just starting out to play. But it's fun.
It
you
really
know.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you played it.
Yeah, we were playing in a friend's driveway, but it had a slope, so you need a little bit of flat.
Good.
Yeah. So there are a couple of leagues in Saco, and I don't have time.
Yeah.
So, but
supposedly
I see
the
people,
fastest growing sport in the country or something like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I see
We'll
people
see.
flocking to the courts,
Yeah.
mostly in the summer, but the cars just line
Yeah, and
up and
well, it's becoming so popular that it's hard to find court time, I think,
Yeah.
and then let alone people. But it's good.
I like the fact that you don't have to be an athlete. Really anybody can
Yeah.
play it. So and it's just fun. So
Yeah, and
and
it gets
like
you out.
golf. I
keeps
mean,
you-
I love golf, but it takes a while. Especially if you play like I do.
4
yeah,
hours, right?
Exactly.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
So what courses do you have a group?
We have a group of senior citizens.
Yeah.
And we try to play all different round. We have one fellow who is Bill Dugan, who's our organizer, and we play at the beginning of the season. We go down south
Oh, okay.
to Ogunquit,
Okay.
Cape Nedick, and in the height of the summer we go north, maybe
Yeah.
all the way to Toddy Brook or someplace
Okay,
in North
okay.
Yarmouth,
That's
or
funny.
maybe even further afield. But it's good. So we try to play at least once a week, and
Yeah.
it's great.
So, and you're also an old goat,
An old goat, yeah.
which I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's actually a true
It's a group.
that meets here.
It's
couple of times a month.
got quite a history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of going back 20 plus,
Oh, yeah.
25 years at least.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. At least 25.
right.
And you're also part of a men's group.
A monthly men's discussion group.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I think it's just so, to keep your brain active. And you're meeting up with your friends, but you're not just talking about the weather.
Right.
You
Yeah.
might if that's the topic of the month.
Right.
But you all delve into...
Yeah, we rotate and everybody does a presentation on some topic.
Yeah.
We try to be apolitical.
Yeah.
So it tends to be technical or maybe sociological, but that kind of thing.
You
But
have
it's
to do a little research.
a little research. But we learn a lot. We have pretty good discussions. So
Yeah, I think it's really great. And I think the fact that you're it's stuff that you want to learn about, right?
Yeah.
So how do you figure out who's in the group?
Well, there's a pretty formal process. People suggest names. That's sort of like, yeah, okay. You try to keep it at a certain level, and
Right,
so
right.
unfortunately, we've had a couple of members who
Yeah.
have passed away, and so we try to keep it, some level, so that the burden of making presentations, you're not doing something every other month. You
Right.
try to spread it out a little bit. So.
Right. And you're also in a book group or two?
Yep, couples book group.
Boy, you're
Yeah.
a busy guy.
Well, that's the problem of being, you never thought, who knew that being retired would basically your time fills up, but.
Yeah.
And I guess I could throw in gardening.
Oh,
Both
yeah?
Kathy and I really enjoy
Okay.
gardening,
Yeah.
and there's so much to do around the house.
Right.
And that's another way of staying active.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
particularly spring is coming. You say, "Oh my God,
Yeah. Yeah.
are we really going to do that again?" Or maybe what about
Yeah.
are we going to put raised beds over there or something like that? So just
That's fun. It's great that you keep active. And
well, it's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's every other day. I think you get something on the internet that says, here are the 12 most important things about staying healthy.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
happy,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's always somewhere near the top is a great network of family and friends, and then exercise
Yeah.
and keeping mentally active.
Yeah.
It's kind of all, and of course.
Yeah.
Eating well and
Yes,
not having too
yes.
much wine. The
Yeah.
wine Zoom,
Oh, the wine Zoom. Yes,
which
that's another
at the
group.
library, which is terrific,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And
That has been.
it's just so happy to see Lonnie at Main and Vine doing well, and
Yeah.
she's really just
Yeah.
come a long way. It's a great addition to the
It
to
is.
the town.
Yeah.
So.
And Betsy over in Kennybunk.
This is not a paid commercial, by the way.
So, do you ever do? So your kids, Allison and Andrew.
Yep.
Who I love, by the way. I love it when
Thank
they
you.
come up and visit, and seeing all your grandchildren.
Yeah, they love to come here.
It is so great to see that, and it's been fun to watch their families. Before they were even born, the kids, and do you think they'll end up here someday?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so totally unpredictable.
Yeah.
They really have gotten to love Kennebunkport.
Yeah, I can
And-
see that when
yeah,
they visit.
And there's, sometimes it's a little tough to find things to do in the winter,
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
if there's a little snow on the ground, we're fortunate we've got a little bit of land so they can run around. And,
right.
and they're not teenagers yet. They're kind of almost
Right.
on the threshold.
Yeah,
So, but they've come up and they go, they love to go to the beach.
yeah.
A couple of them took surfing lessons
Oh, nice.
with Aquaholics over.
Yeah.
They absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
It's just another thing.
yeah.
So where'd that come from? Nobody in my family ever surfed. I don't think.
Did somebody do a cooking class?
They did that as well through the rec
Through the rec,
department.
yeah.
And they had a fabulous time.
Yeah.
So
No, it's great. It's great that you find things, for them before they come, and you can say, we just want to hang out and do a puzzle, or we can go do this.
right, or
I
you
think that's
you
the-
can run around and hit a
Yeah.
baseball or whatever you do. They all
Walk the dog.
They all walk the dog. I think they'll all wind up playing ultimate frisbee because
Okay.
both of my kids and their spouses played
Yeah.
and that's where they met their spouses,
Yeah.
more or less. And they all still play a little bit of ultimate frisbee, and the
Yeah.
kids are kind of
Oh,
the
fun.
older ones are starting to pick that up a little
Oh,
bit.
that's
So.
fun. So I want to go back to London. You were in London.
Yep.
What was that like living? Were the kids?
My daughter was born there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
I worked like crazy to get an assignment there, and
Yeah.
finally they got sick of me and they said, "Oh, shut him up and send him over." Right? But it was great. I absolutely had a wonderful time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And kind of developed a love of things English
Yes.
in general. So
Yeah.
I've been back a few times since.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was good. It was great, and I think we spent every penny we had on travel,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Yeah. Well, because you can go so many places.
yeah,
quickly.
you could take that. I remember driving. We had a little right-hand drive Renault
Yeah.
that we drove to the continent a couple times, which was always interesting because,
Mm-hmm.
of course, we're driving on the wrong side of the road with the wheels. Anyway, it's good to have a navigator.
That's
or
fun,
something,
isn't it?
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, that was a thoroughly embedded a love of travel, and so kind of I would do more of that. It's a little tough having a dog. You got to plan ahead.
Yeah.
And you can't really. The dog is happy to stay in the kennel for maybe 3 weeks.
Right. Right.
But beyond that, that's kind of pushing it a little bit. So, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
When you get back, when I would go somewhere that I would have to drive on that other side, when you get back home, you're still in that mode, and it's like, oh yeah,
A little bit. Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me too much. It was this last time we were there. Poor Kathy was, sitting on the passenger side, which means on this narrow English roads, you're about that far from the hedgerow or whatever. So she was kind of closing her eyes a lot for a lot of driving, but I got kind of a kick out of it.
So you also mentioned in your spare time you like to read.
I do.
What kind of books do you like to read?
Yeah, interesting how your tastes change a little bit. I guess I've always probably liked nonfiction, depending something interesting, either technological or I was a science nerd when I was in high school. So I still like that part of it. History, for probably, I don't know how many years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I suddenly got into all the Scandinavian noir mysteries.
Yes, yes.
I think I don't know how many I read.
I think you introduced us here to a lot of those authors.
But it was, and they're still coming. I kind of have gone off those for a while, but maybe it's time to pick them up a little bit.
So Joe Nesbo, Henning Mankell.
All, absolutely.
I've read a few of those. I have not tried the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Those were pretty good. And the movies were a little violent. Yeah. The Swedish ones were better than they tried a couple in English, I don't think, but that was so-so. Yeah. And you've got some, I remember that, I hope I can remember the name of the author. It's a two Dutch detectives, Vander, but you've got a series out on the shelf out there. There must be 15 of them. Yeah. Or something like that. I went through all of those. Yeah. And then the Italians. And the great thing is about, the Inspector Montalbano series is now you can, on Prime, MHZ network, you can see the Italian movies, TV series they made of Inspector Montalbano. Obviously with subtitles, so if that doesn't get you, it's pretty funny.
It's interesting how they've been doing that. I know like Harlan Coben, the Michael Conley, there's been a few of these authors, American authors, that have had these series on, and they translate pretty well. I think they're pretty good. Yeah. So
it's amazing. It is, and it's amazing how much stuff there is out there. Oh, right. If you subscribe to the right streaming channel, God forbid how to figure that one out.
This is true. Yeah.
But we were watching one. I'll throw the name out there. It was on Netflix. Yeah. It's a Polish series with subtitles called The Green Glove Gang. Okay. 3 elderly ladies are in a gang. Anyway.
Awesome.
It was funny. I mean, cute, funny. Only a 7-part series, 7-episode thing. But it was just, you never know what you're going to come across.
Oh, but. I know. And I love a lot of the BritBox type things that have come from some of these authors also. Have you seen Bad Sisters? Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, fantastic.
That's a pretty fun.
I didn't like the other one that she did, but I can't remember the name of it. But these were great.
Oh, I know.
A little dark, but very funny.
But still very good, and I find myself trying to talk like them after.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, speaking of that, I've had a classmate or two that have gone over to London. for school.
Yeah.
Not stayed very long, and have come back with these accents. Like, where'd you get that?
Well, it's easy, I think.
But you don't have one of those.
No, well, in the right circumstances, I probably could. If you go there, whatever, you tend to use the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Maybe not the accent. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Lou or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's so.
I do say that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's
just fun.
Besides watching all the British shows on TV, you pick it up anyway. So
That's
you
right.
kind of,
That's right.
Where are we? Somewhere in the Mid-Atlantic, I guess. It's all right.
So,
But it's good.
so where are you headed on your next adventure?
We are going. We were going to Florida, but then Hurricane Ian came along. So I said, maybe that's not such a good idea. So we said, well, look at. We had anyway. We're going to go to Madrid, Barcelona, and Paris.
Nice.
And April in Paris.
Very nice.
Yeah. So we have to take singing and dancing lessons. I guess,
you better
right?
hurry up because
Yeah, right. Let alone Spanish
it's
lessons.
10 days away.
Yeah. Now, you did the walk, which I
did.
thought would be fantastic, but
Yeah.
we're going to be in the other
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah,
I've never
you're-
been to Spain, except once on business.
So good. I mean, the tapas, the wine that doesn't come with any label on it. It's everybody's
Good-
wine kind
good
of
stuff,
thing.
yeah.
Like food is so fresh because it's right there in your neighborhood,
Yeah.
as opposed to getting something, across
Yeah,
the.
fantastic.
And the people are so nice. Most of the people that I found when I was there spoke English, thank goodness.
Thank you.
Yeah, but there were a few times when I was like in a train station, nobody wanted to stop and answer your question, and because they were on they had to get somewhere. But that was probably the scariest. Was the train station in Madrid.
Oh, good. We'll be there. We're taking a train from. Well, I've got a phrase book,
There you go.
Wait. I've got a paste.
Yeah, exactly. That helps. But yeah, it's a beautiful country. So
Yeah,
you'll have a good time.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it'll work out
That's nice.
pretty well. It's exciting.
And you're sort of a foodie, I would say. So you'll fit right in.
Yeah, well, food, wine, good food, wine. Although it's kind of, we like, one of the seniors' biggest hobbies is eating out, right?
Yeah.
So, which we enjoy, and there are many good choices around here, and particularly in Portland.
Yep.
Or Portsmouth, whatever. I mean,
Right.
lots to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I found that as I get older, I guess when I used to be wowed and impressed by fancy presentation, I just,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
do a really good job with ingredients and the
Exactly.
quality of the food and
Yeah.
whatever. Don't.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's when it's just about the presentation, there's something that's, really missing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, some people really like to do that, and that's fine.
That's a little
And
bit important.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But it is fun. I mean, to experiment a little bit at home. We both Kathy and I like to cook, so
Yep. Yep.
it's good. And if you
Nice.
like, I guess all my kids like to cook as well and eat. So that kind of is a family.
So that
We
must
trade
be-
experiences, and
That must be fun when you all get together.
it is. Yeah, chaotic, but
Yeah.
a lot of fun. So fitting 10 people in our house is fine.
So when they come over, do you all, you're going to make tonight's dinner, or do you kind of?
It kind of works that way.
Yeah.
We shift the responsibilities in
Yeah.
at least an informal way, because they'll usually want to try something out. But well, it's good.
Yeah, and the food here is a little different than the food in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
so.
a little bit. I mean, the choices are
Yeah.
overwhelming almost in
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
in New York City in general. And
Absolutely.
they're not bad in Boston either. so,
Right, right.
yeah.
That's right. So when we get ready to sort of conclude our interview, we have a rapid fire round.
Sure.
1-word answers. Okay.
Sure.
Favorite color?
Blue?
Favorite cocktail?
Oh, Scotch and soda.
Okay. What kind of scotch?
Single malt.
Single malt. Mike, he's
Probably Macallan.
okay.
Are we talking?
I think our producer likes that
Josie,
also.
right?
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, black raspberry.
Do you have a favorite book?
Not really. No.
Favorite
Not too many.
movie?
I was going to say Casablanca,
Okay.
kind of the obvious choice.
That's okay. I like
But
that one too.
4 Weddings and a Funeral
Okay.
would be kind of, that's right up my alley.
There you go. Favorite restaurant? And it doesn't have to be around here, but
Wow. That is difficult. I'd say within the last 5 or so years of places we've been, I would pick Balthazar in New York.
okay. Yeah,
That is a cool place.
that is a cool place.
Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of cool, coolest place you've ever been?
Ooh, coolest place. Very difficult to answer that question. I can't do a one-word ansar.
Yeah.
I mean,
you've,
I
you've
would.
been to some.
Yeah, I mean,
really amazing places.
I would say, what would I say? Singapore.
Oh,
Or no, Hong Kong.
okay. Did you go there for work?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah. And before, it was before the British turned it over. I mean, it was a long time ago, before the British turned it over to the Chinese. So
Yeah.
we still had this very strong
Yeah.
British influence. And I remember,
Yeah.
anyway, a lot of interesting.
Would you go back?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might. It's not that high on the
Okay.
on the bucket list.
Okay.
You get into a kind of an interesting dilemma of sort of, do you
Yeah.
go back to places that you really like and go in deeper,
Yeah.
or do you go wider?
Do you get? Yeah.
And
yeah. Yeah.
you try to
Yeah.
balance it, you know.
So, since you've been here for a while, if a family, say Allison or Andrew's family, came up and you didn't know them, but you just happened to, meet them at the coffee shop, and they said, "All right, we're here for a day. What should we do in Kennebunkport?"
What time of year are we talking about? Summer?
Okay, yeah, let's pick
Let's
summer.
make it easy.
Let's make it easy.
That's right. Going to the beach, Goose Rocks Beach is an easy one.
Yep.
I have a little 17-foot outboard in Cape Porpoise Harbor.
Yep.
That it's fun. If it's a nice day,
Yeah.
not too windy, it's just great to go out, go to have a picnic out on Goat Island.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah.
And that's the other. If I could digress for just a second.
Yeah. Sure.
If I look at besides the great people that we've met, people that have, everything from lobstermen that have been doing it all their lives to
Yeah.
retirees that have been around, to,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. It's really an incredible mix. So, kind of, maybe it's reflected in the organizations that we have, like the Conservation Trust,
Yeah.
the Housing Trust, the library. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really quite a remarkable place.
It really is. We were talking with Dan Beard recently, and he's been here for quite a while, and he'll say the same thing. It really is a special community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you think about it, it's just,
Yeah.
it really is. I think we're extremely lucky
Yeah, yeah.
to have, wound up in this, landed here.
Well, and we're extremely lucky that you landed here because you've been able to help us so much and help all these other organizations in town. And now, so much fun to have your grandchildren coming to the library.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
So-
This is, I've always loved libraries, but this place is so special.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, just thinking of, I see our producer taking pictures here, there, and everywhere, but the lecture or talk on Saturday
Yeah.
by Joshua Smith was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just, and then you get guys like George Emery,
Yeah.
who are just,
Oh, I have a friend who would like to speak.
Yeah, but just sort of like the opportunity to meet
Yeah.
with people of all kinds of backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah. And just, some of the authors that a friend happens to know so-and-so, and
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
happy to come and, doing a
Yeah.
favor for their friend, but they're doing really a favor for the entire community.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
Yeah.
the garden tour
yeah,
is another great example
Yeah.
of kind of
yeah.
people
So many
opening
people.
up, so many people
Yeah.
working hard, to help the library out. But
yeah. We don't do that again until next year, but
Yeah,
I think
right,
the
right.
committee is already working on the gardens. So that's
not going to be
Yeah.
mine.
I'm just the ticket seller.
Right,
So
yeah.
they don't want me near
Yeah.
any gardens because I don't know what anything is. Like,
Right.
this is my garden here.
Right. Oh, well, that's. I
My
think
forever flowers.
I'd say that's doing very well indeed.
It is. I
That's
talk
good.
to
Is
it
that
all the
real, by the
time.
way?
No. So I used to have, when Greg and I first moved into our house, the couple that owned it before, the window boxes are up on the second floor. And the screens are not the easiest to water,
Yeah.
So we figured out a way to do it. But the first few years we were there, the couple that owned the house before us had these fake geraniums. So I would put those out, and I would call my parents, and I would say, "Dad, don't look," because he was like, "What is the matter with you? Don't you know how to, grow anything?" And so for a few years, I had those fake geraniums, and everybody went by and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're so beautiful," because they were far enough away from the road. So this is my kind of. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for being
Hey,
with us
a pleasure.
Tonight, and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
Yeah.
So-
I become an octogenarian
Yeah?
in July, which is a little
Oh.
scary, but
Wow.
and whatever.
Well, we might have to have a little scotch and soda.
I don't know. We'll see. Trying to be moderate in many things.
There you go. There you go.
It's been great.
Thank you all for joining us once again for another episode of What's Your Story? David Kling, thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
And we will see you all next time.